These are the best apples we've grown. Looks delicious. Dig in.
What if one of the most powerful foods for your heart isn't hidden in an expensive supplement, isn't locked inside a secret anti-aging formula, and isn't something you need to order from across the world? What if it's sitting in your kitchen right now? A fruit so common that millions of people overlook it every single day. Yet growing evidence suggests it may help support healthy arteries, improve cholesterol balance, feed beneficial gut bacteria, and possibly reduce some of the risk factors associated with heart disease. Now here's the surprising part. Many people spend hundreds of dollars searching for the next miracle health product, while completely ignoring one of nature's simplest gifts. Because when something becomes ordinary, we stop noticing how extraordinary it really is. And what researchers have discovered about this fruit over the last decade is genuinely fascinating. Especially if you're over 40. Especially if you're concerned about your heart. And especially if longevity matters to you. So before you dismiss this fruit as just another happy snack, stay with us. Because by the end of this video, you'll understand why some nutrition experts consider it one of the smartest foods you can add to your daily routine. And the most surprising benefit?
It might have nothing to do with what happens in your stomach, and everything to do with what happens inside your arteries. Let's begin. The fruit we're talking about today is the apple. Yes, the humble apple. Not exotic, not trendy, not expensive, just an apple. For generations, we've heard the famous saying, "An apple a day keeps the doctor away." Most people treat it as a simple, old-fashioned proverb. But what if there was more truth behind that phrase than many realize? Today, scientists understand far more about nutrition than they did a century ago. And surprisingly, apples continue to stand out. Not because they're magical, not because they cure disease,
but because they're packed with a remarkable combination of fiber, antioxidants, plant compounds, and nutrients that appear to support multiple systems throughout the body. Your heart, your brain, your digestive system, your immune defenses, even your skin. And as we move through this story, you'll discover why some of the most powerful benefits come from parts of the apple many people don't even think about. But before we explore the science, let's travel back in time. Because the story of the apple is much older and more fascinating than most people realize. Thousands of years ago. Long before modern medicine, long before nutrition labels, wild apples were already growing in the mountains of Central Asia. Many historians believe the ancestors of today's apples originated in regions that are now part of Kazakhstan. In fact, some of the oldest apple forests on Earth can still be found there today. Imagine that. The same fruit sitting in your kitchen has a history stretching back thousands of years. Allied historians traveled along ancient routes. Apple seeds spread across continents, eventually reaching Europe, then North America. And over time, apples became one of the most widely cultivated fruits in human history.
But apples weren't valued only for their taste. Many traditional cultures believed they promoted vitality, strength, and longevity. Ancient healers often recommended fruits rich in natural compounds to support overall wellness. Of course, they didn't know about antioxidants or fiber, but they observed something important. People who regularly consumed nutrient-dense plant foods often appeared healthier over time. Fast forward to today. Modern researchers are uncovering mechanisms that may explain those observations. And some of the discoveries are remarkable, because inside every apple exists a sophisticated combination of natural compounds working together.
Compounds that may help support healthy blood vessels, protect cells from oxidative stress, feed beneficial bacteria, and contribute to healthy aging. But before we reveal why arteries are such an important part of this story, let's first understand a silent process affecting millions of Americans. A process that often develops without symptoms, and one that many people don't think about until it's already advanced. Every second of every day, your arteries are working tirelessly. They deliver oxygen, transport nutrients, and help keep every organ alive. Think of them as the highways of the human body. Now imagine those highways gradually becoming less efficient.
Not overnight, not dramatically, but slowly, year after year. This process can be influenced by many factors: diet, exercise habits, smoking, stress, sleep quality, age, and overall lifestyle. One of the biggest challenges is that changes inside blood vessels often happen quietly. You don't feel your arteries aging. You don't feel cholesterol particles moving through your bloodstream. You don't feel oxidative stress damaging cells. Yet these processes may be occurring beneath the surface. Which is why nutrition matters so much. Because every meal becomes an opportunity either to support your body or place additional stress on it.
And this is where apples begin to reveal their hidden power. Because researchers have discovered something fascinating about a type of fiber found in apples. A fiber that may play a surprisingly important role in supporting cardiovascular health. In the next section, we're going to uncover why this fiber has attracted so much scientific attention, and why the part of the apple many people peel away could actually be one of the most valuable parts. What you're about to learn may completely change the way you look at this everyday fruit. Stay with us.
If there is one nutrient that quietly does incredible work inside the body, it's fiber. Unfortunately, most Americans don't get enough of it. And that's a problem. Because fiber influences far more than digestion. It affects cholesterol, blood sugar, gut health, weight management, and potentially even longevity. One of the most interesting types of fiber found in apples is called pectin. Now don't worry about memorizing the name. What's important is understanding what it does. Imagine pectin like a gentle helper moving through your digestive system. As it travels, it forms a gel-like substance.
This process may help slow digestion, support healthy blood sugar responses, and assist the body in managing cholesterol. Researchers have been studying pectin for years, and one reason it continues to attract attention is its potential role in supporting cardiovascular health. But here's something many people don't realize. A significant amount of this valuable fiber is found near the skin, which means peeling an apple removes some of the very compounds that make it beneficial. Of course, if you eat peeled apples, you're still getting nutrition. But whenever possible, washing the apple thoroughly and enjoying the skin may provide additional advantages.
And this leads us to another fascinating discovery. Because fiber isn't the only reason apples have earned their reputation. The real story gets even more interesting when we examine the colorful compounds hiding beneath that skin. Every day, your body faces a challenge. Not from a visible enemy, but from a process called oxidative stress. Think of oxidative stress as tiny biological wear and tear. Over time, it can affect cells throughout the body. Your blood vessels, your brain, your skin, your organs. This is where antioxidants come into the picture. Antioxidants help protect cells from some of this damage. And apples happen to contain several powerful antioxidant compounds. One of the most talked about is quercetin. Quercetin is a naturally occurring plant compound found in many fruits and vegetables, but apples are among its most recognized sources. Scientists are interested in quercetin because it may help support healthy inflammatory responses and protect cells from oxidative damage. Now, let's be clear. An apple is not medicine, and it isn't a cure for anything. But when consumed regularly as part of a healthy lifestyle, its antioxidant profile may contribute to long-term wellness. What's fascinating is that many of these compounds work together.
Nutrition isn't usually about one magical ingredient. It's about synergy, the way nutrients interact, the way nature packages them. And apples are a perfect example of this principle. But the next benefit may be even more surprising, because the health of your heart might depend heavily on something most people rarely think about: their gut. What if one of the keys to better health wasn't in your heart or your brain, but in your gut? Over the last decade, scientists have become increasingly fascinated by the gut microbiome, the trillions of microorganisms living inside the digestive tract. These tiny organisms influence far more than digestion. Researchers continue exploring links between gut health and immunity, mood, weight management, metabolism, and even cardiovascular wellness. The beneficial bacteria in your gut need fuel, and one of their favorite fuels is fiber. Remember the pectin we discussed earlier? When beneficial bacteria feed on fibers like pectin, they can produce compounds that support various aspects of health. This is one reason nutrition experts often encourage eating a variety of fiber-rich foods, including fruits like apples. Now think about this. Every bite of an apple isn't just feeding you. It may also be feeding the beneficial organisms working inside your body around the clock. And when your gut ecosystem functions well, the positive effects can ripple throughout the body. But there is another area where apples seem to shine, an area that concerns millions of Americans every day: blood sugar. And what you'll learn next may surprise you. Especially if you've been avoiding fruit because you're worried about sugar. Many people hear the word fruit and immediately think sugar, but the story is much more nuanced. Yes, apples contain natural sugars. However, they also contain fiber, and that combination matters. Fiber slows digestion, which can help moderate how quickly sugars enter the bloodstream. This is one reason whole fruits are very different from sugary snacks or sweetened beverages. When you drink a soda, the sugar arrives quickly. When you eat a whole apple, the fiber changes the experience. Nutrition experts often emphasize that the entire food matrix matters, not just one nutrient in isolation. Of course, individual needs vary. People managing diabetes should always follow guidance from their healthcare professionals. But for many people, whole fruits like apples can fit comfortably into a balanced eating pattern. In fact, replacing processed snacks with whole fruits may be one of the simplest health upgrades available. And here's something interesting. Many people notice they feel more satisfied after eating an apple than after consuming foods with similar calories. Why? The answer leads directly to our next benefit: weight management. And the reason may have less to do with willpower than you think.
Let's talk about hunger, because hunger is one of the biggest obstacles to maintaining a healthy weight. Many diets fail not because people lack motivation, but because they're constantly hungry. This is where apples offer a practical advantage. They're relatively low in calories, contain water, contain fiber, and require chewing. All of these factors contribute to feelings of fullness. Think about the difference between drinking calories and eating calories. A sugary beverage can disappear in seconds. An apple requires time, chewing, digestion, attention. That experience can help increase satisfaction. And when people feel satisfied,
They're often less likely to reach for additional snacks. Again, apples aren't a magic weight loss solution, but they can be a valuable tool within a healthy lifestyle. Sometimes the smallest habits produce the biggest long-term results. One apple today might seem insignificant, but repeated over months and years, those choices can add up. And speaking of long-term effects, we're about to explore why some researchers believe apples may support one of the goals people care about most: healthy aging. The dream of staying active, sharp, and energetic for as long as possible.
And the connection may be more powerful than many realize. If you could ask most people one simple question, what do you want from your health? Many wouldn't say bigger muscles, or even weight loss. They would say something much deeper. They want to stay independent. They want to stay active. They want to enjoy life. They want more healthy years, not just more years. And that's where the concept of longevity becomes fascinating. Because longevity isn't about finding a miracle. It's about accumulating thousands of small choices over decades. The healthiest long-living populations in the world tend to have one thing in common.
They consistently consume nutrient-rich plant foods. Day after day. Year after year. Not because they're following a trend, but because these foods provide compounds the body has evolved alongside for thousands of years. Apples fit naturally into this picture. Their combination of fiber, antioxidants, hydration, and beneficial plant compounds may help support several systems associated with healthy aging. Think of it this way. Aging is inevitable. But how we age can be influenced by lifestyle. Every healthy choice becomes an investment. And while no single food can guarantee longevity, some foods make a stronger contribution than others. Which raises an intriguing question.
Could one simple daily habit today influence how you feel 10 years from now? The answer may be closer than you think. Because the next benefit doesn't involve your heart or your waistline. It involves the most complex organ in your body, your brain. Your brain never truly rests, even while you sleep, even while you relax. It remains one of the most energy-demanding organs in your body, which means nutrition matters a lot. Researchers continue studying how dietary patterns affect cognitive health throughout life. While no food can guarantee perfect memory, certain foods appear better suited to supporting overall brain wellness. Apples are among those foods frequently discussed in nutrition research. Why? Partly because of their antioxidant content. The brain is particularly sensitive to oxidative stress, which means nutrients that help protect cells are of great interest to scientists.
Some research has explored how plant compounds found in apples may contribute to maintaining healthy brain function, part of a balanced diet. Again, this isn't about dramatic promises. It's about supporting the body's natural systems. Think about maintaining a car. You don't wait until the engine fails. You perform routine maintenance. Nutrition works in a similar way. The choices you make today may influence how well your body performs tomorrow. And if there's one thing people fear as they age, it's losing mental sharpness, which makes this next discovery even more interesting.
Because one of the body's strongest defenses begins with something surprisingly simple: your immune system. Your immune system works 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Most of the time, you don't even notice it. It's quietly protecting you, responding to challenges, maintaining balance, and helping your body adapt to its environment. To perform efficiently, your immune system requires proper nutrition. Not one nutrient, not one supplement, a complete network of supportive nutrients. Apples contribute to that network. They provide vitamin C, plant compounds, fiber, and other nutrients that support overall wellness.
While they aren't the highest source of vitamin C among fruits,
Their strength lies in the complete package, the synergy, the combination. This is a recurring theme throughout nutrition science. Nature rarely relies on isolated ingredients. Instead, it creates powerful combinations. And apples are an excellent example of that principle. But there is another area where many people notice benefits, one that literally shows on the outside, your skin. And what happens there may surprise you.
When people think about skin health, they often think about expensive creams, luxury treatments, complicated skincare routines. Yet some of the most important factors begin internally: hydration, nutrition, sleep, stress management, and overall health. Your skin reflects what's happening inside your body. That's one reason nutrient-rich foods play such an important role. Apples contain water, antioxidants, vitamin C, and plant compounds that contribute to overall wellness. Healthy skin isn't created overnight. It's built through consistent habits. The foods you eat, the sleep you get, the movement you perform, the stress you manage.
Over time, these choices become visible, not dramatically, but gradually. And often that's exactly how lasting health improvements occur. Small actions, repeated consistently. Which brings us to something many viewers may not expect. One of the most practical benefits of apples has nothing to do with appearance, and everything to do with energy. Because what happens after lunch could reveal a lot about your nutritional habits. Have you ever experienced the afternoon crash? That moment when your energy suddenly disappears, your focus fades, and all you want is another cup of coffee? Millions of people experience it every day.
Often because of blood sugar fluctuations and poor snack choices. This is where apples can become a practical tool. Their combination of natural carbohydrates and fiber provides a more balanced source of energy compared to highly processed snacks. Many people enjoy pairing apples with protein-rich foods like nuts, peanut butter, or Greek yogurt. Why? Because the combination may help increase satiety and provide more sustained energy. It's simple, affordable, convenient, and available almost everywhere. Sometimes the most effective health habits aren't complicated, they're repeatable, and repeatable habits are often the ones that last.
But before you rush to buy a basket of apples, there's something important you should know. Because not everyone is getting the maximum benefits. And the reason comes down to several common mistakes almost nobody talks about. Stay with us. The next section could completely change the way you eat apples forever.
By now, you might be thinking, great, I'll just eat more apples. And that's certainly a step in the right direction. But surprisingly, many people unintentionally reduce some of the benefits apples can offer. Let's start with one of the most common mistakes: removing the skin. Now, if you prefer peeled apples, don't worry, you're still getting valuable nutrients. But many beneficial compounds, including a significant amount of fiber and antioxidants, are concentrated near or within the skin. Whenever possible, thoroughly wash the apple and enjoy it whole. Mistake number 2. Replacing whole apples with apple juice. This surprises many people.
After all, apple juice comes from apples. So what's the difference? The answer is fiber. When apples are processed into juice, much of the fiber is removed. That changes how the body experiences the sugars naturally present in the fruit. Whole apples and apple juice are not nutritionally identical. Mistake number 3. Thinking one food can compensate for an unhealthy lifestyle. This may be the most important lesson in the entire video. No food, no matter how healthy, can replace sleep, exercise, stress management, or a balanced diet. Health is a team effort. And apples perform best when they're part of a larger healthy lifestyle.
But now comes one of the most frequently asked questions. When is the best time to eat an apple? The answer might be simpler than you think. People often search for the perfect timing, the perfect schedule, the perfect health hack. But when it comes to apples, consistency matters far more than timing. That said, there are a few moments where apples can fit particularly well into your day. Morning. Many people enjoy apples with breakfast because the fiber can contribute to satiety and help start the day with a nutrient-rich choice. Mid-morning snack. Instead of reaching for highly processed foods, an apple can be a simple alternative. Before physical activity.
Some individuals appreciate apples as a light source of natural carbohydrates before a walk, workout, or outdoor activity. Afternoon. Perhaps one of the most practical times. This is when many people experience cravings and energy dips. An apple paired with nuts or yogurt can become a satisfying option. The truth is, the best time to eat an apple is often the time you're most likely to eat it consistently. Because consistency beats perfection every single time. And if you really want to maximize the benefits, there are certain food combinations worth knowing.
One of the easiest ways to upgrade nutrition is through smart food pairing. Here are some combinations many nutrition experts appreciate. Apples and nuts. This combination provides fiber, healthy fats, and additional satiety. Apples and peanut butter. Simple, affordable, and surprisingly satisfying. Apples and Greek yogurt. A combination of fiber and protein that many people enjoy as a balanced snack. Apples and oatmeal. This pairing creates a breakfast rich in fiber and texture. Add cinnamon for extra flavor. No fancy ingredients required. No expensive supplements necessary. Just simple foods working together.
Sometimes health becomes complicated because marketing makes it complicated. Nature is often much simpler. And that's exactly what makes the next story so powerful. Because sometimes statistics become more meaningful when we see them reflected in real life. Let's meet Susan, a 54-year-old teacher. Like many Americans, she often skipped healthy snacks during busy workdays. Instead, she relied on vending machine foods and sugary treats. Eventually, she decided to make a small change. Nothing dramatic. She simply began carrying an apple in her bag every day. That one habit gradually led to another. More water, more walking, better food choices.
Several months later, Susan noticed she felt more energetic and more in control of her eating habits. Now let's meet Robert, a retired engineer. After discussing nutrition with his healthcare provider, he became more intentional about incorporating whole foods into his routine. Apples became one of those foods. Not because they were magical, but because they were practical, affordable, accessible, easy to enjoy. Over time, healthier habits became easier to maintain. And perhaps that's the most important lesson. Health transformations rarely begin with giant changes. They begin with small choices repeated consistently. One walk. One healthy meal. One better snack. One apple. And eventually, those choices become a lifestyle. Which leads us to the final and perhaps most important message of today's story. The most extraordinary thing about health is that it isn't built in a single day. It's built quietly, moment by moment, meal by meal, choice by choice. Most people spend their lives searching for something extraordinary, a secret, a shortcut, a miracle solution. But some of the most powerful tools for better health have been sitting in front of us all along. Simple foods, simple habits, simple consistency. The apple is not a miracle. It won't stop aging. It won't guarantee perfect health. And it certainly isn't a replacement for medical care. but it represents something important. A reminder that wellness often begins with ordinary choices.
The choices that seem too simple to matter. Until years later, when those choices have shaped the quality of your life. Your future health isn't determined by what you do once. It's influenced by what you do repeatedly. And perhaps that's why the apple remains one of the most enduring symbols of health in human history. Not because it's perfect, but because it's accessible. For almost everyone, every day. So the next time you walk through your kitchen, or pass the produce section at the grocery store, take another look at that simple fruit. Because it might be doing far more than you ever imagined.
And if you enjoyed this journey into the science of everyday foods, make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, and join us for the next health documentary. Because some of the most powerful health secrets aren't hidden in exotic ingredients, they're hiding in plain sight. We'll see you in the next video. Stay healthy, stay curious, and take care of the only body you'll ever have.